50% of our daily calories from ultra-processed foods. Now, here's why that's not good news. The more ultra-processed foods we eat, the higher our chances of developing heart disease. So Andrea is here to share her thoughts on which foods we should eat more of and which ones we should leave on the shelf. So Andrea, first take me through what ultra-processed foods are and why they're so bad for us.
Ultra-processed foods are basically foods that have been processed to the point where they're unrecognizable as food. So they become food-like products, and that's what many experts think. So they use ingredients called the scary seven. These are ingredients that have been proven to be harmful to our body. For example, high fructose corn syrup, which is also known as glucose fructose, trans fats, MSG, which is monosodium glutamate, artificial colors, artificial flavors, artificial sweeteners, as well as preservatives. And they're used because they're used to extend the shelf life of product, make it look more appealing because we eat with our eyes, but also flavor it. So whether that's salty or sweet, it makes it taste better. Now, the reason why they're not good for us is because they're empty calories. They do nothing for us. They have no nutrition. And when it comes to health, they promote inflammation in our body, they mess with our blood sugar, and they promote obesity. So those are all reasons we want to avoid them as much as we can.
Okay, so I've heard that we should be shopping the perimeter of the grocery store and avoiding the middle aisles because that's where the processed foods are. But it's probably a little bit more complicated than that, isn't it?
It really is. Not all the products in the middle aisles are harmful for us, which we're going to talk about in a minute. Now, there are three broad categories of food. There's the ultra-processed that we just talked about, there's minimally processed, and then there's unprocessed or whole foods. Now, we want to get the most from these two categories and the least from this one.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not about avoiding everything that comes in a box or a package, right?
Absolutely. Now, I don't avoid everything that comes in a box or a package. And that's why I advocate so much that we understand how to read food labels. Because when we understand what we're reading and what we're looking at, we can make healthier choices. So as we discussed, we want to stay away from the ultra-processed category, and we want to look for minimally processed category when we're at the food, when we're in those middle aisles. Now, what does minimal processing mean? So that means that they're going to have real food in their ingredients, and they're going to avoid the ingredients like this scary seven. So when you're shopping, you look at a can of beans. Look for beans that have beans and water. That's it. You understand they're real ingredients that's in the product. For example, canned fruit. They're packed with, let's say, pineapple juice, right? This is Chaz. Hearthy Foods uses flour that has a single ingredient, yams. Good Food for Good has ketchup that uses dates instead of refined sugar to sweeten it. You've got chocolate, you've got salty nuts and seeds. Now, one category that gets a bad rap is the frozen food category. This is from my freezer. Now, this is Hillary's, and the reason why I love it is because it's a minimally processed brand that uses real ingredients. So you understand everything that's in their plant-based burger. For example, it has ancient grains like millet, it has veggies, it has beans, it's organic, it's non-GMO, and it's free from the top 10 allergens like soy, gluten, and dairy. So when we're making those healthier choices, when we're shopping those middle aisles, this is what we want to look for, those minimally processed foods.
Okay, so it's not so bad that it's frozen, but you just have to get the frozen packaged stuff that is actually made with fresh whole ingredients, right?
That's right. So real ingredients that you can pronounce, that you understand. And, you know, like Randy was saying too, when it comes to, you said to Randy, when we're talking about salad dressings, there are salad dressings that you can grab from your fridge that have those real ingredients, that use good oil, like olive oil, right? That's healthy for us, and other spices. So it doesn't contain anything like high fructose corn syrup. So exactly, we want to look for those minimally processed products.
That makes so much sense. Now, I see a lot of fresh ingredients on your table. They're making me hungry for lunch. So talk to me a little bit about what you've got.
So this is the unprocessed and whole food category. Now, what that means is that these foods have been unaltered, not changed at all from their original state or format. Fruits and vegetables are an example. Legumes, nuts and seeds, meat, fish, coffee, tea, eggs, as well as avocados and olives.
Last question. You mentioned olives and avocados. Are oils whole foods too?
That is such a great question, Tracy. The answer is no. Oils are not considered to be a whole food. That's because they do undergo processing, even if it's minimal. So when it comes to buying oils and you're looking for that minimal processing, you want to look for cold pressed. That's when they're extracting the oils in a cold way. There's no heat that's used from the fruit or the seed. So you want to look for cold pressed coconut oil, cold pressed olive oil, as well as cold pressed Malaysian palm fruit oil.
So interesting, really important information.